Ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, 400 years ago this month, a group of about 130 passengers and crew arrived at Cape Cod Hook, who would make history.
Centuries later, there are an estimated 35 million descendants of the Mayflower Pilgrims. New at 6, Andy Alcock explores the footprints the Pilgrims left for modern-day America.
The Mayflower 2 arrived in Plymouth this past summer after a major renovation. 400 years ago, 102 passengers and roughly 30 crew members arrived in what today is Provincetown Harbor in Massachusetts.
I'm grateful for their passage, and I'm interested in continuing that education and sharing that with others.
Jane Hurt is the Governor General of the General Society of Mayflower Descendants. She's the first person from Kansas to have that honor. According to Hurt, the Society has approved about 30,000 lines for descendants tracing their roots back to the Mayflower. But that number is just a tiny fraction of Pilgrim descendants.
A lot of the millions do not even realize that they might be a descendant of one of those Mayflower passengers.
If you live in Missouri, you can apply for Mayflower Society membership at momayflower.org. For Kansas residents, you can apply at ksmayflower.org.
I think there's a legacy that we all have as Americans, because they really set the foundation for the country.
Genealogist Casey Reed says if you can trace your American ancestry back to about the Revolutionary War period, the Mayflower Society has records which likely can get you the rest of the way, about 5 generations. 2 websites, she says, are very helpful in tracing your roots. They are FamilySearch.org and Ancestry.com.
Those are my 2 go-to fundamental sites. I always start with those and then work out from there.
Not everybody sees the Pilgrims' arrival the same way. The Wampanoag Indians and the Pilgrims entered into a treaty in 1621, which would last for 52 years. In September of that year, they celebrated a harvest feast, which was the foundation of the modern-day Thanksgiving. But once that treaty ended and an ensuing tidal wave of European immigrants hit colonial America's shores, Native American tribes were pushed farther and farther west. As a result, some Native Americans have a day of mourning on Thanksgiving, including at Plymouth, to honor the loss of Native people. Gayleen Krauser, executive director of the Kansas City Indian Center, talked about what Thanksgiving means to Native Americans.
Across the country, there's going to be mixed feelings about whether it's celebrated or not celebrated.
In addition to Family Search and Ancestry, there are other websites and lineage societies designed to help people of all backgrounds. For Native Americans, there's NARF.org. For African Americans, there's the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society website, AAHGS.org. Latino Americans can get help finding family roots at HispanicGS.com.
Every person has an amazing story. I find everyone fascinating because their story is so different than mine.
After months of gathering documentation, my own ancestry search led me to the Mayflower. To see how I was able to get there, including with the help of the World War I Museum right here in Kansas City, go to kshb.com. I'm investigator Andy Alcock, 41 Action News.
Wow, a little bit of history there tied to our own Andy. Well, if you're interested in tracing your family history, you can check out this story on our website. As he mentioned, it has all of those links, too, to help you in your own search.